Hello everyone, John 12 back here again with another video, and today I bring you another episode of John 12's comic book reads. Last time, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I did a graphic novel review on The Killing Joke, and I was thinking, like, what's a good book that I can choose that has a good storyline that parallels with The Killing Joke, and that can stand alone as its own the definitive great Joker story. And there's all tons of great stories based around the Joker, but this one is really good, and I really love it. And every time I look at this book and read it, it always reminds me of the time that it came out. Like, obviously, this came out in '08, and obviously the big thing at that time was in DC Comics and in comic book in general was obviously The Dark Knight. And this book is like very heavily influenced by The Dark Knight. When you read this book, it feels like The Dark Knight, you know, with the few exceptions here and there, obviously. But the big misconception with this book is, at the time especially, I mean, like, if you have yet to read it, let me just set the record straight for you guys. Basically, this story is not an adaptation of The Dark Knight. It's not like a graphic novel like Joker's story of, like, before he met Batman or something. It wasn't that. A lot of people thought that when this book first came out because of the similarities between the two. But they're actually two completely different books. The only similarities is that, for one, obviously the realism of Gotham City. Two, the realism of the characterizations of the villains, and of course the way Joker looks in the book. Obviously, when you take Joker from this book, he looks exactly the way he does in The Dark Knight, Heath Ledger's performance. I mean, like, obviously there's a few differences, you know, with the skin and like the eyes, but other than that, like, the smile and the hair and like the overall feel of his character in this book is essentially Heath Ledger's Joker. And that's not really a terrible thing. A lot of people are against, like, realism in comic books, but I think this is, like, a good thing, you know? Like, if you're going to have a graphic novel Batman, he should at least be somewhat realistic, like, with these type of tones, you know? That's just me, I don't know. But this book was written by award-winning author Brian Azzarello. I think that's how you say his last name. And obviously artwork by Lee Bermejo. He's an awesome artist. Like, his artwork in this entire book is just awesome. And it also changes from time to time. Like, first it would be, like, very gritty and grimy. And then you get to, like, really comic booky. And then you get, like, he gets, like, really stylistic with it. And then there's, like, really highly contrasted panels. And then you have just, like, really big panels of, like oil painting of, like, the Joker and, like, other characters. It looks really nice, and it stays in the tone and setting of the book and doesn't really deviate from that, but it's really awesome. But let's get right down to it. First off, this book is entirely dedicated to the Joker. A spoiler, obviously, if you yet to read the book. Batman is not really in this book that much. He's in a few panels, but other than that, he's not really in this book at all. It's mostly dedicated to the Joker. And I think the greatness about this book is that it's not really Joker telling the story, like usually with most of his books. It's actually monologued, not by Batman, but of course one of the other newer characters for this book was Johnny Frost, and he's basically like an upcoming gangster. He's like trying to make a name for himself. He has like a troubled past. He doesn't really know what to do, but he's like kind of getting in the groove of like being a bad guy. And I love the setting, and I love how it starts off. You know, you have his dialogue and stuff, but then you look at the city, and the city is just so awesome. I mean, like, when you see Gotham City in this book, it looks like Detroit or like Chicago, you know, back in the 80s and 90s when it was just a hunk of shit, or it fucking looks like fucking New York back in the 70s when no one gave a shit, you know. It just looks like it just looks like a city of violence, you know. You just look at it from the skyline. There's not even the skyline. It's so dirty you can hardly see the city, and that's the greatness about Lee's work. It's just so nice. But you just get into Johnny Frost. He's like trying to deal with some things. He wants to make a name for himself, but his first duty is to like pick up the Joker and like watch over him, like, supposedly. Because the Joker's obviously spent a lot of time in Arkham Asylum, like he usually does all the time. But he gets out, so the second the Joker comes out, he's just the main focus of this book from start to finish. Almost every single panel the second you see him, and you don't really hate it. You know, it's like the Joker doesn't even say anything when he walks out. He just walks out like a badass, smiling, obviously, and just has these demonic eyes of like now that I'm out, I'm gonna fuck shit up, and it's just awesome. And he just turns around and just flicks off the fucking Arkham Asylum, which is awesome. I wish they would have done that in like an animated movie or something. I wish DC would do that. Like if they ever made like an animated version of this book, DC, the DC universe, they should have that clip in there, like just Joker like flicking off Arkham Asylum, like fuck this place, this fucking piece of shit place. It's fucking awesome. But you move in from that. Obviously, you have some introductions. You know, Joker's just obviously trying to get into the head of Johnny, and obviously he's just fucking with him. You know, like the Joker does. He usually just likes to fuck with him, fuck with everybody, especially Batman. But anyways, we're getting into Gotham City. The Joker's out to just mess with people and like collect like his dues from various other people, and we get like good introductions to Killer Croc, who obviously doesn't look like he usually does in the comics, but obviously a realistic version. We also get like just various panels of him just fucking around with Killer Croc. I think the greatness about this book is that it also introduces Harley Quinn, and a lot of people like to think of like, how would Harley Quinn look like if she was like a part of like the Chris Nolan universe or like the Dark Knight trilogy. This is a clear example. Like, she would just be like this really crazy looking like stripper, fucking slut, fucking grimy, like crazy fucking broad. Like that's fucking Harley Quinn. That's what she would be like. And the Joker is just having a party. Like, he just, when you read this book from start to finish, Joker does so many questionable things that he doesn't usually do in the other comics that it's so awesome. Like, he's just drinking, he's partying, he's fucking talking shit, he's fucking checking out chicks. You know, he's just a dude, you know, it's just fucking awesome. Because you don't really see that side of Joker. And maybe people don't like that, but I think it's fucking awesome. But you get various shots of very crazy acts of violence. He skins a person, it's fucking awesome. He just, like, skins him alive. It's so insane, and, like, you just have really great panels of just Joker and Harley. Obviously, Harley doesn't talk in this book, which, I don't know, that's like one of the things I was disappointed with Harley Quinn. Like, at least have her say something, but she doesn't actually talk throughout this entire book, which is crazy. But anyways, as the book goes on, you get introduced to other characters, you know, like Two-Face and Penguin, and like Johnny's just like, you know, trying to like help out the Joker throughout this entire thing, and also you get into the past of Johnny Frost. You know, like, you kind of get to see like his troubled relationship with his old girlfriend and shit, and how he spends his time and all this crazy shit. And it just, the Joker just doesn't give a fuck. He's robbing places, he's laughing, he's talking about children, like, he's fucking just crazy insane, and he's just, that's like the number one thing about this book. He does so many questionable things, it's almost insane, like how crazy he doesn't see like the difference between how fucked up this is and like how much he doesn't even care. It's just so awesome and crazy. And then you just get more acts of violence and just more like variations of violence, and you just have really crazy shots of the Joker obviously just doing more questionable crazy shit. He's obviously just doing his thing. He doesn't really care. He's just killing people. He's like a mob boss, you know, without having a crew. That's basically what the Joker is in this book. He's a mob boss who just doesn't care. And I think a good example of like his insanity in this book is that he plays Russian roulette with himself for a second. Like, there's a good like 2 pages where the Joker does Russian roulette with himself, and he puts a gun in his mouth and just clicks, like, and it doesn't even kill him. He was just playing. I think that's a good representation of the Joker. And I don't think a lot of people like to take that into consideration, because a lot of people like to exit that out when it comes to like the animated stuff and like other type of comic books that are rooted more towards kids. But I think if you need to know who the Joker is, that's who he is. He doesn't care about himself. He doesn't care about his own well-being or his life. If he died right now, as long as it made a laugh, he wouldn't even care. I mean, like, all he wants is just to live life, like, right fucking now. So it's just awesome and crazy. But you just get more acts of violence. Like, there's just police department just obviously just finding dead bodies all over the place. It's like it's like a scene out of freaking like a Martin Scorsese film. You know, it's just insane. Like, you're just there's just dead bodies among more dead bodies all throughout the fucking city. It's just crazy. And like, Killer Croc is also pretty cool. He's a beast in this fucking thing. He's just fucking around as well, but mostly Joker's obviously the cause of everything. He doesn't care about anybody else other than himself. And you just get this book is just like panels and panels and pages of like just random acts of violence that he does to not only the people around him but like himself. And also there's also like a really good shot of him like behind closed doors, which I think is cool because it's him crying and he's holding Harley Quinn. And I think that's a good shot because it really shows that there might be some humanity in the Joker, even though he might not admit it ever. But there's a humanity there. And I like that. That's a really nice like panel to like put in there, even if it doesn't make sense. But there's just various acts of violence. We get the Riddler in here. Also the Riddler's in here. We just get really crazy. The Joker does really crazy violent stuff. He obviously fucks over Two-Face. There's just awesome crazy stuff. But of course, the Dark Knight must come in and like save the day. Joker's obviously run amok, so obviously Batman has to come in, but not addressed by James Gordon, which is odd. James Gordon is not even in this book. Two-Face is actually the person who calls him in to help because Joker fucked him up too much. So Batman has to come in. He attacks the Joker. The Joker and obviously Batman for the last couple pages just go like an all-out war. And Batman looks badass in this book. I love how Lee drew him. You hardly see him, but when you actually do see like glimpses of him, he just looks so badass. Like, I wish like if there was like ever a model or like a figure, somebody needs to make that. Like, make a Lee Bermejo Batman figure. That would be fucking awesome. He just looks beast in this thing. Like, it's crazy. But anyways, we just get really crazy. Johnny Frost obviously has his life threatened, and the book basically ends with just a Batman. So, but that's going to be it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed my little review. But if you want to get more in touch with comic books, especially by Brian and Lee, definitely check out Batman Deathblow and Lex Luthor Man of Steel. They're awesome books, and the artwork is just great. If you just love cover art just in general, get those books. But also get Superman for Tomorrow Volumes 1 and 2 by Jim Lee as well. He's fucking obviously the king. Batman Broken City and Dr. 13. They're also great books. Check out those books. Check out everything from Brian and Lee, and also check out 100 Bullets, which is also a great comic book series in and of itself. But with all my comic book reads, I don't really give ratings. I just suggest people to check them out. If you liked what you heard in this review, definitely check out the Joker. Go to Barnes & Nobles. Go online to Amazon. Go to a comic book store and try to find this book. I'm sure they'll have it. Definitely pick it up. It's definitely a great read. If you like The Dark Knight, and if you liked Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy, and it's specifically Heath Ledger's performance, definitely check this out, because even though they're not exactly the same, they're very similar, and they have definitely the same kind of hits and beats, and it's just all around enjoyable. So I hope you guys definitely go and check it out. Like, not all great comic books are masterpieces, but this is definitely on there as like a good masterpiece of great literature and artwork by a DC comic book artist. And if you just like the Joker, come on, you just have to pick this up just out of having a consistent comic book collection. But that's going to be it. I hope you guys enjoyed, and this has been John Trick 12's Comic Book Reads.